Hi everyone, welcome to a comedy game design podcast called I'd Totally Play That, where we create games that you'll wish existed. And with me today, I got Tyler Burrell.
Yeah, hello.
I got Peter Corvesas.
Hi.
And I got my man, Kevin Clark.
Hi, thanks for having me.
The theme for this week is idioms, quotes, and phrases. And when I sent that out to you guys, how many of you knew what an idiom was? Because I had to look it up, to be honest. I knew what it was in my head, but I didn't know what the definition was.
I knew what an idiom was, but you said idiomatic expressions, so I had to look that up.
You sent the link with it, because you said that. I'm like, what the fuck
take it easy,
is
Professor.
this gonna
Maybe
be?
next time dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, so Webster Dictionary defines an idiom as a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. I just read that and I became more confused as to what an idiom is.
An idiomatic expression. Best man speech there for a second.
A wedding is the combining of two metals under intense heat.
So yeah, I didn't quite know what an idiom was, so I did have to look it up. But after looking at it, it's a rich vein for game design. It's each one of these that I look at, I think of at least a WarioWare micro game that would work with it.
Yeah, there was one where I was like, oh, that'd be great for Jackbox games. Like, that'd be perfect. Like that. That's the first thought that came to mind.
Finding one that works with a larger idea is a little bit tougher. Usually at the beginning of the podcast, I point out real life games that are based on the thing that we're doing the theme on. So I did like movie games and stuff. And for idiomatic expression games, there isn't a wealth of...
Yeah, I was going to say, what example are you going to pull out of your butthole right now?
There's a Wikipedia
there isn't
article.
A wealth. There is not a wealth of games to draw from. When you search idiom video games, you get gaming-idioms by the Free Dictionary. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link and see what it gives me.
Give me that gaming definition. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's literally all it is. It's the definition for video game. That's not what I was looking for. This seems promising. PDF, video games and English idioms. Let's see what this is.
Somebody wrote their doctoral
thesis.
Yeah, this is
Somebody wrote their doctoral thesis on this. Abstract learning English requires real-life context where the stretches of language can be natively communicated. In addition, efficient learning of... This has nothing to do with video games.
You need to get to page 3 before you really get to the real gamer strats.
So what you're saying is that this is an untapped market that we're about to go into. So we've cornered the market, essentially.
This is a whole new genre. We're really kicking off. We're really turning the industry on its head with this one. It's really gonna be the whole rage at E3 2021. Idiom games are really taking over.
Maybe 2022.
Is E3 ever actually going to come back now? I feel like no one's going to go to E3.
I just got. I have a Google alert for E3, and they are switching it up to E4, and they're just going to skip the rest of E3, go straight to E4, and we're gonna move on from there.
So E3 is called E3 because it stands for Electronic Entertainment Expo. What is the fourth E? Is my question. Ooh. I don't know if there's a joke here. I was
Is there anything?
Erection?
There we go.
Porn gets included in it too now?
Electronic Erection Entertainment Expo is the
It's
answer.
all about VR porn.
I looked up funny words that start with E in a panic, and let's see what the results are here.
Erection, and erection.
I got E-buse, to bully someone cyberly. E-gads. E-makamoo.
I did get another Google alert on my phone about E4, and the fourth
Oh,
E stands
okay.
for Eesh. We're spending a lot of time on this thing. And I do want to get to bed by 9:30. So
This bit is stretching.
Do you guys have anyone in your life who like misuses idioms every single time? Like every time they try to use an idiom, they get it wrong, or a very notable misuse of an idiom that occurred to you?
we had a guy on one of our projects that would do that all the time, and I remember one specifically where he was saying that, oh yeah, I take this job because we're always working. It's like making money hand over tin cups. And everybody's just standing there staring at him. Like, what is that you just said? Said, making money hand over tin cups. And everybody's like, that is definitely not a phrase. I'm sure I have used incorrect idioms before or made them up on my own, but that is wrong. It's just wrong.
Hand over tin cups.
Hand over tin cups.
Oh man, he was so close. He
started it and you're like, oh.
He almost had it.
Almost had it.
My friend's mom, growing up, would always say, and I thought it was just a thing she made up or just a mom being a mom, but she would always say, heavens to Murgatroyd. And I thought it was just her. I thought it was just her, like, getting heavens to Betsy mixed up with something really weird or something. But it is a real thing. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah, it's from that cartoon cat, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it a cartoon cat?
Is it Snagglepuss?
I can picture the cat. Is that who it is?
Yeah,
He's like pink. He wears like a pork pie hat.
Yeah, it's Snagglepuss,
it is
right?
Snagglepuss. Yeah, it is Snagglepuss, the pink cartoon cat. Yeah.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
That's it. There he is.
There it is. Oh, Kev's very familiar with that
great.
one. Our friend Emmy has a whole bunch. Pound sand.
Pound
she
sand.
loves. Yeah, but she uses
Pound
them
sand
appropriately.
is
I'll give her
one
that.
I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard
Pound
that one
sand
too.
is a good one. That's honestly a really good thing to
we
say.
hear
That's
that
like a
lot
good kiss
on the
off
job
line.
site.
Yeah. Pound sand. Put a nickel in it for when you want someone to do something faster. That's one of my favorite Emmy lines.
That's a good
Put a
one.
nickel in it. Now I'm gonna Google that to see if that's just something that's just an Emmyism.
That's like
Let's
just
see.
her mom. That's a Marguerite-ism that she just picked up, I think.
Yeah, that does seem to be something that is a Margueritism because nothing's coming up here.
Put a nickel in it.
Yeah, no. So I see put a nickel in someone, verb, to provoke a person to excitement or talkativeness. That's not the case that she uses it in.
that's...
So yeah,
So it's
whoa,
like a
this is-
bastardized version of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, hats off to Emmy on creating her own idiom. Put a nickel in it. We each brainstormed idiomatic expression games. I don't know if anyone did a phrase or a quote, but that was open. That was fresh meat as well. But mine are all based on idiomatic expressions. So I'm gonna kick us off with my idea, and I'm gonna start with a setting. So a man enters his garage, turns on his car, gets in the car. He's already in the
Hold
car
on a
because he turned it on.
He has a remote
He has a
start.
remote start.
Come on.
Yeah, he has a remote start. So he starts the car, then he gets in the car. Very important that I point out the remote start. So he's in his car. He opens his garage door. He pulls out of his garage. He pulls out into the driveway. He pulls out into the street. And when he pulls out into the street, he is struck by a car going 100 miles per hour and just totally obliterates him. Sorry, he's dead. You failed. And that's what would happen if you didn't do well in the game that I'm talking about. Because
Correct.
my game is about a guardian angel who must save lives, and it is called A Blessing in Disguise.
This is not what I thought. I did not think this is where
I
you were
didn't think
going.
this was either.
I was like, is it going to be hit the road? Like,
Oh, hit the road would be good. No,
I'm
that
thinking
was
things
just
with
one
speed.
example. That's the first level of A Blessing in Disguise. What I described there. So,
I would say the first level would be opening the garage door for the man that started his car from inside the garage with the closed garage.
Yeah, so you have to. So basically, each level starts with a Final Destination-esque
Oh, God.
flashback. where somebody dies a brutal death, and you see what happens. You pick up the clues. First clue is that he did start the car before opening the garage, so it probably did do something bad to his lungs there. So you'll want to prevent that, but it really doesn't matter when the car careens into him in the end. But anyway, you need to save this guy's life. So you are a guardian angel, and you are physically manifested within the world as a human. And your job is in each level to save the person who you saw in that flashback, or flash forward actually, by solving environmental puzzles and never letting them see or do anything suspicious to let them know that you're an angel. So you see this guy get careened into in this car, and you have to go into his house and find a way to disable the vehicle or find a way to stop him from getting into the vehicle. You need to find out why he's getting into the car. So maybe you go in and you eavesdrop through the door to see why he's getting in there. And maybe he's going to visit his grandma. So you can like try to place a prank phone call from the nursing home that she's in.
She's dead.
Or you could go into the... Yeah, she's dead.
Grandma
Don't bother.
Don't come in today.
Don't come in today.
Or you could go the physical route. You could sneak into his garage, try to locate his tool chest before he's about to get into his car and try to disable the vehicle. Maybe just, jack off all the tires. Yep, pop a tire, or like get in there under the hood.
So what are the gameplay mechanics of this? Like, is this like a top-down type of game? Or like how are you going about this? Or is this another Chris Gordon VR special?
No, it's not VR. It's not VR. It's not a VR game.
I'm picturing... Oh, go ahead. I want to hear what you think it is. Or what you say
I was going to say it's essentially at a 3/4 angle, so you're viewing from the top down, but you could see more dimension in the frame. So it's not just like you just.
It's not just like straight top down 2D. It's like
exactly. It's like Command and Conquer or Super Mario RPG type angle, where you can see more. It's like a 3D environment, but you're still moving within
like a static camera type of thing.
Exactly, static camera. So yeah, you're exploring the space in there, and there's of course a time limit. So you see that flash forward, and then maybe you have 3 minutes to solve this puzzle, and each one has multiple ways to solve them. So you could potentially place that prank phone call if you find out what he's doing fast enough, or you could go for the physical approach, disabling the vehicle in this case. So yeah, that's the basic idea. What were you gonna say, Tyler?
I was gonna say I pictured like a what was that game? From like the 90s. Riven? Is Riven a game?
It's the sequel to Myst.
I remember playing Riven with my dad. We did not play Myst, so maybe that's why we were so confused. But it was like a point and click puzzle thing where you could like click around on the thing, and like you'd be in this room and you'd go over to the wall and there'd be like like 3 dots on the wall, and you would have to interpret what those would mean, and click around, and like you said, you click over the tool chest, maybe you can open a drawer and there's a hammer in there or a screwdriver that you can use to pop a tire or something.
I like that idea because you could get more specific with the exploration then. So it's not just go check the dresser, it's check each drawer in the dresser. You literally have to look in each drawer, and time is ticking down. So there's a game similar to Riven, similar to Myst that I used to play called Titanic something. Hold on, Titanic.
Yes, I know. I played that game.
Yes, okay.
I think I only played the demo of that game, but I played that game. But yeah, you're like trying to solve a mystery or something on the
I got it at the flea market when I was younger. It is a not well-known game for PC and Mac
maybe
called
Windows
Titanic.
95.
Yep, Windows 95, very much so. Titanic Adventure Out of Time. It was a Myst-esque adventure game, a point and click, where you had to solve the mysteries of the Titanic and try to prevent the Titanic from crashing. And there was a built-in clock. It was like a Majora's Mask-esque clock, where it was like a long period of time, but you had to get a lot done in that period of time. So it was very stressful. And for that reason, I never finished it.
So you're saying for your game, there's a lot of levels. So there's like, what's an example of another level? So like you got to save the dude from getting hit backing out of his driveway. Is it like other car-based levels, or is it like?
I think we'll stay away from cars for the most part with the other ones. That would be weird if they were all just based on cars for no reason.
So
it's just a weird secondary driving game, but you're the passenger.
Allstate presents.
Is it the same guy every level too? Like, are you protecting the same guy throughout the entire game?
That's actually funny. I didn't think of it that
Yes.
way. But yeah, this guy just has the worst luck, and he's about to
just
die
very
every single
accident-prone.
day.
Because I would feel like by the end of the game, I was like, are you sure God doesn't want this man dead?
Maybe that's the final level.
You got that one up,
with
God.
the fact that fate is fate, and you have to let it go.
Yeah. As an angel, it's your job to protect this man, but as an angel, it's also your job to carry out God's will. So if God has made
It's
his
your
will
job
very
to
clear by trying to kill this man every single day, then maybe you should just maybe that's the ending. Maybe it's
You have
coming
to
to
be by the
terms with
book.
the fact that you have to, you give in to the creator there and, carry out his will.
Man, you could set it up for a sequel where you God of War style betray and turn your back on God, and you go against his will.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it ends with like you saving this guy's life for like the 12th time, and then you get a phone call from God, and God's like, "What's up, man? I need you to chill with this. I need to kill this guy." And
This
then
guy's
you
just gotta die.
you turn around and you have like the Michael Jackson Thriller red eyes look directly into the camera, and that sets it up for a blessing in disguise to Renegade.
What if the
Renegade Angel.
What if the last level was the direct opposite, where the guy is putting in a scenario where he is so safe, there's nothing that can harm him, and you have to put him in a scenario that will.
You have to make it right.
He's
You're
like in a
locked
padded
up.
room in
You
a
right.
psych ward.
You need to fix this.
He's straitjacket. There's nothing that can happen to him, and you like have to put him in a scenario
he's had
like
12 near-death experiences 12 days in a row. So
committed
he's like
himself.
called the psych ward and asked to be submitted so that he could be in the white room. And you have to find a way to kill him and make it look natural. By solving environmental puzzles. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, so mine is
great.
mine
Yeah,
is
that's
a
a great
twofer.
addition.
Mine is a double disc package. So it's a blessing in disguise
I
disc
like that.
1, and then disc 2 is a blessing in disguise : Renegade.
Renegade.
Wow, okay, that makes the game a lot better. And I have come around. It is a point and click adventure for sure. Thank you for that input, Tyler. Yeah, so it's a point and click adventure, and it does have the built-in clock both times. So yeah, you need to make sure that you're keeping up to time with your puzzle solving, lest the man die in the first. It does kind of defeat everything you did in the first disc. If in the second disc you're just trying to undo it, but I kind of like that about it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best things about building a tower out of blocks is knocking the blocks over at the end. So you do want to destroy what you've built. I think is a good aspect of your game.
You want to see this man burn, probably literally.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, you could burn down the sideboard. You could try to crack open the door and throw a grenade in there real quick without anybody noticing. And in that case, it does become a stealth game. There are stealth mechanics, which would be kind of weird with a point and click adventure, I guess. But who cares? We're breaking all the rules with this one. It's Renegade.
It's an angel.
We gotta break
it's
all
fine.
the rules. So yeah, that's my idea. A blessing in disguise / a blessing in disguise : Renegade.
Very nice. A very good use of the topic material, I think.
Yes. Cool. So that one's mine. Let's go down the line. Tyler, what's your idea?
Can I use the bathroom before we do this? I did
Yes,
not
you may.
pee when you guys peed, so now it's my turn.
I've never heard that idiom before.
I'll be back.
Can I use the bathroom before I do this?
Go on.
I'm gonna go pee too. Hope you don't
Chris,
mind.
again?
I'm gonna leave my AirPods here so you don't hear me pee. I don't want to listen to you. I'm back, baby.
I'm back.
You guys
Can
synced
you
that
hear
up
me?
pretty well.
Yeah, wow, we got back at the
You
exact
both
same
like
time.
walked in the frame at the same time.
We have very in sync urinary tracts.
That's it.
That's something I've always known about me and Tyler. It was a real problem when we lived right next to each other.
When we shared a bathroom, yeah.
It was always, are you in there again? I have to go.
I need to go right now, the exact same time.
It was a big problem.
All right. So first, I do want to bring up an issue from the past couple times I've been on the podcast, which is I know I fall prey to creating games that are maybe put in the category of oops, all cutscenes. So I do realize that is something I'm.
Oops, all cutscenes. You're not a big gameplay guy.
But I'm not a big gameplay guy. I'm a big picture man. We'll give it to the eggheads down in the lab. They'll figure out the mechanics. So
Tyler just creates movies that have gameplay in the middle of them.
You're pretending you're on a movie podcast every time.
I want it to be a movie podcast every time I'm on. Okay. I want to introduce you guys to a little show, very little known, on a little known network called, and I hope I'm saying this right, HBO. And the show is little show. Just discovered it. I've never heard anybody talk about it before. The Wire. If you guys have heard of The Wire. So my game is called To Walk the Straight and Narrow, The Wire, the game.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
To Walk the Straight and Narrow.
Basically, this is just HBO's The Wire, but not the cop part. So just forget about the cop part. It's like half of The Wire. It's just the street gangs, and you're a street level hustler on the mean streets of West Baltimore, but you're not like a kingpin or anything. You're just kind of like one of the ground guys, maybe like I don't know what you'd call it, but like a soldier in good standing. I guess like you're not causing trouble, but you're just kind of, you're in the mix, right?
That's definitely the terminology that street gangs use to refer to their members. A soldier in good standing.
1950s mafia.
Yeah. So have you ever seen the show? Have you guys seen the show? I'm sure.
I have not actually seen the show,
parts.
and I'm sorry to say that because I hear
people know of the show anyway.
Yeah, but it's like the
absolutely.
type of show where it's like I feel like it's too late for me to watch it now, and I'm too far
I'm watching
gone.
it for the first time right now. This is why it's come to my. I've been like crushing through it.
Yep, I've heard lots of people say that it's been a quarantine find of theirs. Like they haven't seen The Wire, and now because of quarantine, they're finally watching it.
Well, now especially with HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I just found out about HBO Max yesterday, trying to log into HBO now. But so yeah, it's one of those shows where you're like, oh man, everybody talks about it, but it's like an undertaking. I don't want to do that, but now you don't have an excuse. So I started watching it, and it's amazing. But there's a guy on the show called Poot. They call him Poot, and he's just kind of like, he's not a main guy. He's in like every 5 or 6 episodes. He's just kind of there. He's doing his thing. That's the guy that I'm talking about. You're like that guy.
You're like that guy, or you are that guy? Do you play as?
You're not. No, you're not necessarily that guy. But you're a guy that is like that same deal, right? So you're in the mix. You're, like I said, soldier in good standing. You're not running anything, but you're not like the low man on the totem pole either. So basically, what I'm picturing is like a Grand Theft Auto type thing where you're doing street missions. You're like, okay. You got to run from the police, and there's maybe like a parkour mission or like a car mission. You're like doing things with the street corners, and you're trying to work your way up, right? So you're maybe you start out as a runner, and then you start like running a corner on yourself, or maybe there's a mission where you have to put some muscle on a rival crew, kind of thing, doing what you can do to work your way up through the ranks, right? But man, like life is really hard in the street, right? And it's all you know, and you know that you can't go this way forever, but you need to get out. But how? You need to elevate yourself. You have to walk that straight and narrow. And you realize that you have to do that literally. And there's only one way to do that, which is by joining the circus and training to become a professional tightrope walker. Yes! So now
such a turn.
Oh my God, I love it.
You get into this game, and you are now wanting to, again, work your way up through, but you're doing it at the circus. So you've done it at the street level. Now you're doing it through the circus because you're trying to walk this straight and narrow. So you're going through, and the second part of the game adds a little bit more of a, there's like a honing of your skills, honing of your craft. So like those parkour levels and things in the first part maybe add to your skill set in the second part, because you can use that. Now maybe you've got a little bit more of a defined core that'll help you with your balance. but you're still doing these things to work your way up through the circus.
So it's like a Slumdog Millionaire type thing where like your upbringing on the streets like helps prepare you for, in this case, your life in the circus.
All of your past decisions affect how you work.
But those would be like side missions and things. So you could have skipped them and continued along with the story, but then maybe you get to the circus part and you have like no balance or no coordination because you didn't do those, the sleight of hand one. Then during the second half, as you're working your way up, there will be like temptations that'll try and pull you back to your old life on the streets. So, I have to pay for trapeze lessons because the next step is to be the trapeze guy, and then you become the tightrope guy. But how are you going to pay for that? Maybe Weebay calls you. He's another guy from The Wire. But Weebay calls you. He wants to cut you in for one last score. So, you got to like balance those. So that's where I'm at with that.
Walking the straight and narrow, keeping your balance.
Walking the straight and narrow.
On theme.
And The Wire, same thing. It's literally The Wire. But
I was going to compliment you for that.
I'm getting a lot of layers. I'm trying to go a lot of layers with it. So that being said, I did not know how it ends. So maybe you guys can help me with how it ends. Because that's as far as I got.
I think it ends with the final challenge being like, it combines your street life with your circus life because your last big score in both situations is you have to pull off a big bank heist or something. And in order to get away with the money, you have to tightrope walk across 2 skyscrapers.
Ooh, with the bags of money with the dollar sign on either end of that bar.
And you're also being cheered on by like the bear on a bicycle from down on the street level.
Like Guinness World Records is like filming it from the ground.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like that. That's fantastic.
I think that's the final mission right there.
Yes. So that's my game.
Oh wow. I love that. Well, what city does The Wire take place in? Baltimore?
It's Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay, Baltimore. So are you picturing like open world exploration?
So I liked that idea of, like, I keep saying Grand Theft Auto because it's really all, it's like the staple game for that kind of thing. So
like Saints
Row. Saints
Row. Yeah.
I'm trusting Pete that Saints Row is also that.
I like the idea that it's Grand Theft Auto-esque and Saints Row-esque in this like giant city open world. But since you're a circus dude, you also have extreme parkour skills. So you can like scale these skyscrapers.
Like Assassin's Creed style, like traversal throughout the city.
Up the alley
exactly,
or something.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
And if you're on the run from the cops or something, you can just like climb a skyscraper and try to get away.
You do turn into a cat person and you can climb up the side of the building.
Maybe you could do like quest missions to learn like skills from the different circus performers. Like you could train with like the strong man and get like up his strength, or like if you want to like take a skill and like a lesson from the fire breather, and then you can start breathing fire as like
you can use that like as you progress through the game, or the knife throwing guy.
Are you joining a circus that is like above board completely, or are you joining a circus with like some sketchy carnies who you think you're getting out of the dark past and you're in this like this world, and that's kind of what, like, you're trying to walk the straight and narrow and you're trying to avoid it, but there's these other dudes you're taking, like, you're going to the strong man to be like, hey, I need to get stronger, but he's like, all right, to get stronger you got to help me do this, and like you have to
maybe you think you're joining a straight and narrow circus, but by you joining the circus you make the circus straight and narrow.
Hold on, how about you find out that the circus is secretly owned by, like, the head honcho of your gang that you were previously in?
Okay, the circus is owned by Avon Barksdale. Yeah, yes.
And that's what brings you full circle for the end with the bank heist.
That's how he launders his money, is through the circus.
Through the traveling
circus. You think you're
circus.
out of the game, but you've been in the game the whole time.
Barnum and Bailey's was a front.
This is exactly what we wanted you to do. This is what we've been grooming you for all along. Shoot. What was his name?
That's Baltimore, baby. Poot.
Poot.
That's Baltimore.
I want to return. I want to return to the skill progression aspect of this. So I like the idea that there's skill progression and there's lots of different options. So you could do the fire breathing. You could do you could focus on your strength, your super strength or whatever. But I like the idea that there's all these options and there's only a limited amount of time. So pulling in like a Persona-esque calendar system where you could only focus on so many things before like the date of the big heist approaches. So you need to decide, am I gonna focus on my fire breathing skills, or am I gonna focus on my like elastic man flexibility skills? And then the final mission plays out differently. The final heist plays out differently depending on which skills you focused on. So maybe if your skill is extreme strength, you break in through the back wall, but if you focused on like your elastic like I could bend over backwards type thing, then you need to navigate like a laser maze or something.
Ooh, dude, I love those alternate endings.
Yes,
I love
yes.
them. So yes, I'm all aboard for that.
Yeah, or else you're just rolling up to the last mission as Superman, just like destroying everything.
Or you unlock the laser eyes. I can't believe
you mess up and you've just been hanging out with the clowns the entire time, so your only skill is like throwing pies and it has
you got that bottle of seltzer water and that's it.
That's hard mode.
It's just all distraction. You're just distracting guards here and there.
It's hard mode. Legendary mode.
Oh wow, I love
Just
that.
hanging out with the clowns.
That's great. Fucked up. All right, Pete, what's your game?
So in my game, you start out as a family man. You kiss your wife goodbye. You hug your kids. You go to work. You get to your office. And then you think you go through your day. And the next day you wake up. And oh, wait, you're not home. You're actually dead. You've been stabbed in the back.
Whoa. And you didn't realize that happened?
No. So like your goat, like you like block out that trauma. So your character does not know how they died.
Oh, like a memento.
But the game is called Stabbed in the Back.
The game is called Stabbed in the Back. Yeah. So you don't know how you've died.
Oh man.
So this whole game is based off you are now a ghost trying to solve and avenge your murder.
Oh wow.
So the way to do this though is you cannot just like, I'm a ghost, I'm gonna go through walls. There's like different rules for your type of ghost. You cannot like you can't Patrick Swayze like grab stuff and pull it off of walls and like open drawers. You need to possess bodies to be able to do anything. Oh. And you have a time limit for how long you can possess a body.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
There's been a police investigation, so you have to somehow find a police officer to possess their body and get into the police station to see the evidence and to see things. And you have to gather your intelligence, but you can only do it by possessing bodies.
Oh, I love that.
And the other thought is if you possess a body too many times, they start to realize it. So you can't just keep going back to this one cop and like just keep possessing them and going in.
You got to keep finding creative solutions.
Yeah, they're gonna figure it out and realize that they are being possessed
too. Like if you are possessing the lead detective, you may not want to do that until toward the end of the investigation when everything's laid out.
Yeah,
you might want to. I like that a lot. Wow.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put like a hard rule 1. You can only possess each person once.
Yeah.
So you need to like have your goal laid out before you possess them so that you could go take action on that, and then you only get to possess them for what, I don't know, 5 in-game minutes or something.
Yeah.
So you need to like plan out your route and what you're going to do and like possess them at the right time, where maybe they're in a car at the time, so you possess them while they're driving, and then you can like
determine I want to go here.
Station. Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You can also like possess your business if you like have a business, or you're, I don't know, I didn't like flesh out the character, but if your character's like a lawyer, you can possess your law partners and go through their stuff and see like, do they have shady dealings? Are they doing stuff like,
so there's like side
up
missions.
Yeah, and you can see like, or maybe that'll lead to your killer because it turns out your partner at the law firm is doing pro bono work for like this drug dealer or something, and who has like all these ties.
I was just gonna say this is a a petty ass ghost. You just got stabbed in the back, and what are you gonna do with your like limited time in the afterlife? Oh, I'm gonna bust my fucking friends. That's what I'm gonna spend my time doing.
So what is the
Narc
end
ghost.
game of this? Is the end game to sabotage the case so that you can invoke ghost justice? Like,
so
what
I
are
think
you
the
trying to
end
get
game
at?
is, I think you can go one of two paths. You can end game help solve your own murder, so they get arrested and go to jail and stand trial with like full evidence, or you can go full ghost vengeance and try and like figure out a way to find your killer and then find a way to murder them. Without though, like then you have to consider, is the person you're possessing to murder your killer then going to go to jail for you, type of thing.
Why don't you just possess the killer and then kill
Commit
yourself?
suicide.
That's what I was just about to say. So the killer is someone that you know. There's a reason why
so
they killed
theoretically, you could have already possessed the killer once while trying to figure it out.
But if you happen to not do
Yeah.
that, then you get to just like have the easiest final mission ever, where you just walk them up to the top of a building and jump off.
But you're right. You could, like, the chances of that are so small, especially if with a small pool of people that you know or whatever that you can possess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
wow,
neat.
that's great.
I like that a lot. I like the strategy aspect of that.
Yeah, super open ended. What are you picturing as to like the presentation? Like, is it like a 3D world? Are you like in an open world kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm imagining. I never played it, but I think Detroit Become Human is like kind of like a. I just really thought the style of that was super cool. Where like you can possess someone, and like a Heavy Rain, you have like a chart of things you can decide to do with the person.
Okay, that's
and say,
cool.
Like, I want to do this or that or this, and also. It's the type of game you could do it in the style of Heavy Rain, where you can have 25 different outcomes, like 25 different endings, depending on what you choose to do. And who knows, maybe you just never solve your own murder because you've possessed everyone that you can, and you can't solve it.
What a sad ending.
That's like the
And
worst
that way
ending
you
of the
just
game.
become a ghost forever.
Yeah, then you're just
I
a
like
vengeful
that.
spirit.
Now, what if when you find out why they killed you, you get it? You're like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow, I
Then
do
maybe that's
understand that.
one of your endings.
Yeah.
And you let him, you decide to forgive as the ghost.
Wow. And that's the true pacifist ending.
Yeah, true pacifist ending.
You decide to forgive, but never forget.
Because you see how you were like an asshole from their perspective, and like, oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
that
I
guy is
did.
the subject for a blessing in disguise : Renegade. And he's the one you have
It
to take
leads
out.
right into it.
Yeah. Wow,
Perfect.
that's great. One thing that I just want to point out, have you ever heard of the game Avenging Spirit, Pete?
No.
Because what you just described is the Game Boy game Avenging Spirit.
Oh,
minus
shit.
a whole bunch of detail. But this is a game that wasn't a big hit, but my uncle Ricky happened to have in his Game Boy collection. And when I would go to his house, I'd play his Sega Genesis because I only had a Super Nintendo. I'd play his Game Boy because I did not own any portable systems at the time. And on his Game Boy, he had Avenging Spirit. And it was a game that was loosely translated into English. It may have even just been in straight up Japanese, actually, when I was playing it. But it's a game where it's a side-scrolling, like,
Dude,
just
I
action
pulled up
game.
I pulled up the description. So it's eerily very similar to what I just described.
Yeah.
During a walk with his girlfriend, the player is ambushed by agents of a mysterious crime syndicate who take his girlfriend away and shoot him to death. Specifically, shoot him to death. Now, as a wandering spirit with the ability to possess most others, he is summoned by his girlfriend's father, who researches ghost energy and is given a mission to save her from the crime syndicate, who is holding her hostage.
Yep. Wow. Avenging Spirit. This is one of those games that like I remember very loosely from my childhood because I only got to play it at my uncle's house every now and then, but it just stuck in my head.
You can attack or possess enemies in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
That
And
just
like
shows how
all
good
the
you are,
people
Pete.
that you possessed had different abilities. So you could possess this one guy who has like a submachine gun, or you could possess this woman who only has like a purse that she's swinging around or something. Or there was like this like karate woman who you could possess, and she could do like flying kicks and stuff. So very different, but I just wanted to point out how weirdly similar that was to your game idea.
Hold on, I gotta. Oh my god. I have to open this. I have to send you guys this image of the Japanese release poster, the European release poster, and then the U.S. version of the poster.
Drop it in the chat. Let's take a look.
It is so insane what the U.S. poster is.
Yes. The Japan and European versions look a lot more like the game, and then my uncle did have the U.S. version, it seems, because I remember this man with the Tommy gun,
the crazed-eyed man
on the cart.
It looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
It really does.
Yeah. So just to illustrate, the Japan cover and the Europe cover have the cute ghost and all the cartoony people
it's like
that
Casper
are actually
the Friendly Ghost as the cover.
Yeah. And then in the US version, it is just an angry man with a Tommy gun. It does look like the Mask in the scene where he does pull out the Tommy gun and start firing it in the alley.
You can't even tell it's like a ghost themed game from that.
You have no idea.
It looks like a
this is like
game.
Gangsters. Okay.
I also just want to point out that in the Europe version, there is a nude man like in the fetal position, and in the Japan version they've like colored him to put him in a onesie of some sort, it seems.
Oh, that is strange. What's
what
going
the
on there?
hell?
The Japan version also has a dragon in the bottom left.
Yeah, there's just like Godzilla in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, which was one of the characters that you could possess in the game.
I like how they have Karate Man, Baseball Man, Old Lady, Cat Lady, Godzilla,
Snagglepuss,
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Kev, what's your video game idea?
So I didn't know how to present it, so I wrote it up like the back of like a book, like a paperback book.
Yeah.
Like my
I
presents.
love that approach.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
So,
does it have an about the author at the bottom?
Yeah, about the. Yeah, I'll get to that part too. So mine goes about 8 years after a zombie apocalypse, survivors have set up a walled town as a sanctuary. Security is strict, patrolling the walls and streets, looking to prevent any zombies from entering or attacking the residents of the community. Doctors treat sickness, farmers raise crops and livestock, and groups go on supply runs in the neighboring abandoned buildings. All residents are regularly checked, and those who go on supply runs are inspected upon re-entering to make sure they are not infected. Every person plays an integral part in the survival of the community. You are not a member of the community. You are a zombie who has snuck into the walled town. Your goal is to sneak through the town undetected, devouring as many people as possible. You want to catch individuals off guard, slip past inspection stops, and take down the town little by little. But don't let the guards find you, because you wouldn't be caught dead.
Oh,
That's great.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that prestige at the end.
Yeah. Oh man.
So for the way I envisioned it, it's literally like Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
But instead of Solid Snake, you're like a zombie, and you're like sneaking in. So you have to do is you have to like stealthily like catch a citizen off guard, like devour, like pull them to like a dark alley or something, and as opposed to like a sleeper hold, you're like eating them.
Yes. I love that. So are you Resident Evil style shambling zombie, or are you like 28 days later like completely in control of your motor function zombie?
I want to say it's a little mix of both. You can't run very fast. Like you can move at a steady, but you don't have like motor control with like your hands, so you can't like operate guns or weapons and things like that.
Okay.
But the way I envisioned it, like you could use like basically your turning people into zombies as like a distraction. So you could bite someone, turn them into a zombie, and like shove them into the crowd, and then they can be a distraction to like everyone like going into like, oh, there's a zombie, and that could like clear an area, and you can sneak by the guards in that kind of respect.
I love
And then
that.
I didn't know how it would play off, but I was thinking like if there was like a crowd of people, there could be like a mini game kind of thing where you have to attempt to look alive to blend into a crowd. And
Just pass it off.
like it's like this kind of meter where like that goes up and down where it's like, oh, believable, no, this is a corpse kind of thing. It's like
that Final Fantasy VII marching minigame where you need to stay in between
you have
the
to, like,
people,
you have
and
to do
the
the-
ratings either go up or down depending on how well you're doing.
I was thinking
Oh,
like
man,
the
that's so good.
Tony Hawk grinding meter where you
Yes,
like stay
yes,
balanced
that's
in the
what I was
middle.
picturing, yeah.
But,
Oh man, that's
yeah.
great.
And then in terms of the only other real note I had is that in terms of gaining health, you have to eat brains. Like those are your
yes,
like
yes.
Oh, you
Legend
have
of
to
Zelda
sustain
hearts.
yourself.
And it takes longer to do. So you're like, and once you start, like the animation takes like 5 seconds. So you're out in the open. Like you can't move.
Right.
You need to make sure you're in a safe area. Let me add a gameplay layer on top of this. And that is, so you eat brains. If you eat that person's brain to refill your health, that person is dead. Like they are not even a zombie. They're dead. But if you don't need to eat brains, if you have conserved your health, you can bite them and turn them into a zombie. So in certain zombie fictions, let's say like a Stranger Things type thing, there's like a leader monster who controls the other monsters and is able to bend them to their whim. So let's say as the game progresses and you're getting better and better at the game, you don't just have to control your own actions. You also have to turn other people into zombies and control their actions to maximize the carnage and maximize the damage. So you send them out like almost like giving them certain objectives. So like set up like a barricade for me, or make a distraction, or attack this specific person, and you could give them like occupations and missions to carry out.
Do you have to then, if you do that way, I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood, where you can like, you have to get a specific type of person to do a specific type of mission. So you have to turn like you have to turn
like
a
that.
child to be able to complete like this mission that involves tight, small spaces.
Oh,
So you
I
have to,
love
like, do
that.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Or there is somebody who joined the circus with a little crossover from Tyler's game, and maybe you need them to do some high flying rooftop shenanigans.
I was just thinking like in terms of the mechanic where like eating the brains for health, there might be like specialty people like on the map, like say it's like a general or something, and if you eat his brain, like you gain additional information like a passcode or something.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
And that helps you further along.
I like the thought of that by devouring certain people, you gain intel on the town and the layout of
Right.
the town. So if
Yes.
you
You may
get
not
just
know
like
the layout at all.
yeah, so if you
start.
get just like a rando dude at the front gate, he's not going to know the full layout of the town. He only knows his main area. But if you
Yes.
get someone that like goes out and does runs and is like very important, you can get more of a layout of areas. That's really cool. That's a good idea.
That is
I
cool.
like the
that
idea
a lot.
that you have to choose between being like a sort of lone wolf and continuing to like just trick out your character. So let's say there's a character, let's say there's a civilian who knows like kung fu or something, and you've determined this about him, he has this knowledge. So when you get him, you can choose to eat his brains and gain those kung fu powers, or turn him to your side and use his kung fu powers externally to your advantage via your mission setting.
Yeah, so like would he be a character who, there's like you said, the general who has all the information. Are there high risk, high reward characters that you have to go
Yes.
find, where if you find the kung fu guy, if you get his brains and you learn that skill, you're dope and you got this great fighting skill.
Yeah.
But he could kill you easily because
Yes.
he's this great kung fu guy.
Because he knows
so
kung
you have
fu,
to
yeah.
like
He's
really
not going to be
plan it
taken
out.
down easily now.
Yeah.
Or the general would be like very heavily guarded, so you have to kind of like get him alone somewhere. So there's a whole lot of strategy involved there too.
Have you guys played Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain? I know you have, Pete. Didn't you play it?
For like 5 minutes.
Oh, come on. Okay.
I can't get into them.
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom
I didn't know
Pain
there were
has
5
like
of them.
There's more than five.
that's how many there were. it has this gameplay loop where each mission it's in an open world, and as you approach the mission like setting, like the town or the refinery or factory or whatever it is, you literally approach it in the open world, and you spend time in the open world finding places that are good vantage points to observe and learn as much as you can about the people you're about to encounter and the base you're about to intrude. So you look over here and you see that, oh, there's a like Jeep that's driving around the edge constantly. So let me be aware that that's there. Oh, there's the like colonel. I could tell by his headwear he's the colonel, and he's standing like directly in the middle, surrounded by a circle of armed guards. So
and here's the KFCs that the colonel operates.
I'm also I'm imagining a zombie just on a cliff, like, binoculars. And it's like
So,
janky ass animation of putting binoculars to his face.
Yeah, he can't use guns, but he can tape binoculars to his hands.
Yeah, and there's a very funny animation where like his finger falls off as he does it or something.
Every time.
Yeah.
You can only use the binoculars 10 times total
Yeah,
before you
that's it.
lose
And
all
the
your
last time
fingers.
he's just like balancing it on his pinky to hold it up. So I love the idea that you are doing like reconnaissance in the open world to see what challenges and what opportunities lie in the area that you're about to take on. So doing that as a zombie adds like a whole other wrinkle,
right?
Because you obviously have limitations as a zombie.
So were you planning this as like a large open world, or you're like, this is one town and you're just gonna fuck up this one town real good?
I was thinking it as one town at the time of creation, because I always think about like whenever they do something like that in like zombie film, it's always just like one area that's like secure, and that's where the survivors are like holding down, and then like they go to like buildings or like other towns or something nearby to like look for supplies and things like that. So like the entire place is like infested, like their surrounding area is like infested with zombies, but this area is specifically secure just because they have like contained the infection outside. So
yeah, so like this one town has defenses, and you're tasked by the zombie overlord to take down this town. I think that's so fun. Like the thought of like wandering up to a town and like just wrecking
Sneaking
it.
in and
And the structure still works. So you have like, it's like an Ubisoft open world type game structure where there are outposts that are like, each one is like, guarded, and you have to approach it carefully and go from there. That approach still works, but I like the idea that it's just a small town. So it's just like people with like pickup trucks, like sitting in the back of them with like their like shotgun they got from Walmart. And does it take place like in a post-apocalyptic world? Like how long has this zombie apocalypse been occurring for?
I said like 8 years, but depending on
that's good. So
that
like
could have been like
sufficiently
this is like
post-apocalyptic.
the way of life now.
Yeah. So
they're
like
used to it.
you have a civilization, and you have a town, and you like
And
have
they're well established,
structure.
and it's not new to them. They've lived like this. Yeah.
This is the town like operates like a well-oiled machine. Like everyone has like their specific tasks, and they know how to do it. And like this is how life is. Like it's not like someone's
And
just like, oh, I forgot that zombie bites can cause zombies.
Yeah, right. And this is something that zombies are something they have actively tried to defend for 8 years. So.
And maybe the tutorial is just Emergence Day, where the whole shit goes down and you're the first fucking guy that gets bit. So the tutorial is just like you going around and taking down completely helpless civilians.
Yeah, so it's like The Last of Us, where the very first mission is like the day of shit going down. It's the exact same thing, but you get bit immediately.
Your guy goes down like a bitch. He doesn't even put up a fight.
Doesn't even
He wakes up in bed. Oh God, no!
Oh, come on.
The alarm clock goes off and a zombie's just waiting there for him with his arms crossed.
The toe tapping. Right?
Yeah. Oh man, that's great.
That's
like
fantastic.
Like 28 days later, but when he wakes up from the coma, he's like bit already. He's like, oh, what the fuck
Yeah.
happened?
Oh, what's happening?
Oh man.
Oh
Dang.
shit. Cool. Let's go over some of our honorable mentions. So I had a few. Let me go over these. One of mine was a game where you play by attaching Joy-Cons. So that's the controller from a Nintendo Switch. You break them, you disattach them from the Switch.
And then you have to buy new ones.
You break them off the same way you would a Kit Kat bar. Just like snap them off the end.
Like a Nintendo stockholders video game.
Yeah. And with the game comes these like fabric attachments that you put on your ears, and you do put the Joy-Cons into your attachments on your ears, and the name of the game is Play It by Ear. So you are playing by tilting your head with the Joy-Cons attached to your ears.
I had a very similar thought where it's a Switch specific game, and maybe it could be in the same set of like games, but it's called See Eye to Eye, and you have to stare your opponent straight in the eyes and listen to the instructions. And that's what you have to like move your Joy-Cons in a very specific way.
These are both essentially just 1-2 Switch games.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So that's one I had. Another was, so I'm going to give you some celebrity guest shots from my wife, Michelle, who never wants to be on the podcast, but nonetheless has some great ideas to contribute. One of them is Bite Off More Than You Can Chew, which is a competitive eating video game.
Oh, sponsored by Joey Chestnut.
Sponsored by our boy Joey Chestnut. You can play as Joey Chestnut. You can play as what's the other guy's name?
I like to think of it's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but Joey Chestnut's Bite Off More Than You Can Chew, and it's just Nathan Hot Dogs.
And there is strategy involved, based on when you do slurp down your soda down your gullet, how you dip the bun.
Dipping the bun in the water. Yeah.
Yep. Into the water so you could swallow it faster. Yep. It's all about, gullet maximization there.
That's all.
Another one that she presented me with was a lemonade stand tycoon type game. Where you are kind of running this lemonade stand, and you do need to, level up your operation until you are eventually running a nationwide conglomerate, and it's called Pack a Punch. You're packing up your fruit punch.
Oh. I thought you were going to say...
I thought you were going to say
life gives you lemons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
There's a lemonade idiom! There's a lemonade idiom.
I thought that was the wind up, and then he said pack a punch, and I was like,
this is
pack a punch.
No, you start out with lemons, but then you upgrade to fruit punch. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's the entire goal with when life gives you lemons is you want fruit punch.
That's it.
I want to work up to
True.
that.
That's the whole idiom.
And this last one that she gave me is an infinite runner where you're collecting cash and it's a run for your money. And I'm literally sure that this game exists.
One of the 5 people who listen to this podcast is going to be like, and done. Give me all your money.
No, that's the other thing that I want to say. We have a couple hundred listens at this point and only 6 reviews on the podcast app. So I do want to say, if you're listening to this podcast and you have not reviewed it, you are stealing from me. That is thievery. If you listen to a podcast and you enjoy it and you do not give it a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app, you are a thief, is what I'm trying to say.
If a Wire video game comes out within the next 2 years, it was like, wait a minute.
Everybody will know.
Well, hold on. We talked about Chex Quest in particular in the corporate advertising game episode.
A game nobody has heard about in 25 years.
And then literally 5 days later, they announced Chex Quest HD. We're on the cutting edge here, fellas.
Someone's got their ear to the ground. They're listening.
One of those several hundred listeners that I talked about is Neil Druckmann, and Naughty Dog's next project will be A Blessing in Disguise / A Blessing in Disguise 2 : Renegade.
Be Crash Bandicoot : The Wire : the game.
It's Tyler's game, but you're Crash Bandicoot.
I love that. You're Crash Bandicoot and you have to try to fit in a Baltimore
downtown Baltimore.
The guy in the mask that helps you out is trying to get you to go back to the street. You don't want you to make it. Yeah, so I have 3. I have 2 that I came up with and 1 that is also a celebrity guest shot from my wife.
Hit me, Papa.
My wife.
Okay, so my first one that I do like this game. It's called Stirring the Pot, and you are a sous chef at an NYC kitchen. And a very popular big restaurant in New York City, world famous risotto. And you are the sous chef, and it's your job to stir that risotto. And if you've ever made risotto before, you know you need to stir it constantly, or it'll burn and you'll ruin it. So this is probably, I'm thinking, a game for the original Wii. Bring it out, dust it off, blow the duster off. You find that little sensor, put it back up on your projection, big box screen TV. And this is going to be like a Guitar Hero game, but and you have to stir the risotto to a tempo of a song. To be like, ain't nobody dope as me, I'm just so fresh, so clean. But you're stirring as that song is going on to the beat. And if you get off the beat, then the risotto's ruined. My second game was Hold Your Horses. This is a multiplayer game where you own a ranch and your friends own ranches. And you all have horses on your ranches. So your job is to keep as many horses as you can. I'm thinking of like a 5-minute timed game. And, you know, you're trying to repair your fences as your horses are escaping. And you are also actively trying to steal horses from your friends' ranches and bring them into your ranch. And your friends are doing the same, and you're trying to defend your horses. And the person that holds the most amount of horses at the end wins. And this one, I thought this was great. This was from Emily came up with this pretty good idea here, which is it's called Frosty Reception. Like, you know, I think of like an icy... it was on an idioms list, guys.
That's real. No, that's real.
Yeah, so like a cold greeting kind of thing. So you are the father of a bride, and you love your daughter very much. What are the two things that you guys think? We have two fathers on here. All right. Kevin, are you a father?
No.
No. Okay, so two fathers on here. What is the most important thing in your life? The top two things in your life as a father.
Pete's not a father yet. Let's just say that. He hasn't paid his dues yet.
I got him.
He's gearing up. He's about ready. So what are the two things most important to any dad?
Dad jokes.
The baby itself. Is that one of them?
You guys are close. You're almost there. So the happiness of their daughter on their wedding day is number one.
That's what I was going to say, by the way.
That was my number 3.
Even though I don't have a daughter, that was going to be...
The second is control of the thermostat. Need it. Need that control. So you are the father of the bride. You love your daughter very much. You want her to have the best wedding possible. But, you know, she has never wanted for anything. So she wants this outlandish wedding, and she wants to have a winter wonderland wedding at the North Pole in an ice hotel. And this is, of course, very expensive, and you are just hemorrhaging money on this thing, but it's what your daughter wants. You want her to be happy. This is the happiest day of her life. So you are her father, and at the game is you are at the reception and you are standing in front of the thermostat trying to keep cold guests away from changing the heat. Turn the thermostat up because you don't want to pay for the heat bill. So this I'm picturing kind of like almost like a Fruit Ninja type thing, like for your cell phone, or like a
slapping hands away,
or like a Space Invaders, where like the people are coming and you're like trying to deflect them or push them away,
like a root beer tapper kind of situation, where you need to keep beating them back. I love that.
These hotel guests coming to try and raise the thermostat, which you will not let them do.
So you said this was a celebrity guest shot from your wife, Emily. How complete was this idea when she brought it to you? How much workshopping needed to be done?
Well, I gave her Frosty Reception, and I had the idea of Frosty Reception with a thermostat. And you were a dad that needs to control the thermostat. She brought in the father of the bride thing and the wedding.
Oh, wow. So she made the entire game. She made the only good parts of the game.
She skinned the entire game. She made it marketable. You go ahead and box that up. We're ready.
Oh, I love it. Print it, ship it, baby. Here we go.
Print it, ship it, baby.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that's all I got. So.
All right, Pete, what were your honorable mentions?
I got a handful. The one is it's a game through Twitch, and it's called Bust Your Chops. And it's basically a Yo Mama style diss contest hosted by Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So wait a second.
Couldn't get Wilmer Valderrama for that one, huh?
Nah, I can't get Wilmer.
No, Wilmer's
He's too busy with NCIS. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't.
Oh, yes.
Wilmer's got shit going on. Nick Cannon, I got on speed dial. Nick Cannon called me the other night. That's how good he is.
Hey, you got anything for me? You got anything around?
So wait, what's the gameplay look like? Is it just like video chat
So
and Nick
I
Cannon
like
is
to
just in the
imagine
bottom
that-
right, like narrating?
I like to imagine that Nick Cannon is hosting the Twitch, and he'll pull two people who are like attending his Twitch feed and pull them in, and they're like the people competing against each
So
other.
it's kind of like a Price is Right situation where everyone in the audience can become a participant at
Yeah.
any second.
Oh,
anyone
that's
at any
great.
time can become a participant. Yeah.
Oh, I
So you
love
log into
that.
the Twitch and you are potentially going to be on the show or
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
game. I love that.
And you know that chat is popping off because it's just filled with like professionals. So
yeah.
as they're watching, they're trying to stand out to Nick Cannon so that he'll pick them to come on. So that chat is popping the fuck off.
Yes.
And
Oh,
maybe
man.
if
I
you're
just wanna
good
read
enough-
that chat.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough, maybe Nick Cannon will put you on Wild 'N Out next season. Like, you never know.
Which is still running somehow in the year of our Lord 2020. Somehow Wild and Out is still on the air.
I had Get It Out of Your System, which is basically Crank, the video game.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
And then
Explain that. Hold on. Explain the gameplay there. What were you picturing?
So the plot of Crank is Jason Statham gets like poisoned by a mafia leader, and he has to keep his adrenaline going like at top levels at all time,
Yes.
or else the poison will slowly seep in and he will die.
Oh, wow.
So it's like get it out of your system. You just have to like constantly keep your adrenaline up to be able to
it's
try
like
and get the poison out of your
Just
system.
Cause type of game where there's like
Yeah.
like a
Just
built-in
going
like
wild.
jetpack system. Like
Yeah.
you can like grab onto any car and just hang
You're
off the back.
grappling to helicopters. You're doing crazy shit. Yeah.
Oh wow, I love that. Oh my god. And like you're rewarded for style because that brings up your adrenaline. Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is great. This is great. And I'm picturing like each run being like 10 to 15 minutes, like short runs. This would be a big hit on Twitch because it would be very entertaining
Yeah,
to watch.
very streamlined, very short.
Let's
Like-
just make this a mod for Just Cause 2. Like literally.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like picturing it as like Tony Hawk Pro Skater without the skateboard, and you're like jumping
Yes.
off.
And you
Things
need to
like
keep your
doing
combo
flips
and it
and
has
crazy
going.
shit.
like everything has like a name, and it has like ×2 multiplier and things like that.
Yes. And I like the idea that it all needs to string together into like a cohesive run. So
Or
I'm
combo.
going to hang from this helicopter sidebar until I reach this skyscraper where I could jump off, grab onto the skyscraper, swing around like I'm in Dancing with the Rain, jump off and land on this other
Hold on. What
rooftop.
film were you referencing?
Dancing in the rain.
Dancing in the Rain?
Oh,
Yeah,
You know, where
yes,
he
yes.
grabs the street lamp and he swings around it? That's what I
Classic
was
Debbie
picturing.
Reynolds film, Dancing in the Rain.
Dancing in the Rain.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I associate with adrenaline, it's Dancing in the Rain, baby. Nothing gets my blood pumping like
Also, I have
the
to give a final, like,
1941
you-
classic.
Singing in the
Dancing
Rain is the
It
film.
is Singing in the Rain.
Oh,
my
Singing
dude.
in the Rain.
That's why we were mocking you this whole time.
I thought
Well,
there was
yeah,
some
you know-
sort
you
of
know
like
what?
inside
Of course.
joke I wasn't aware of. Like you guys all knew someone who called it like Dancing in the Rain, and here it was. It was Chris. It was Chris the
It
entire
was
time.
Chris. We all do know
Just
that
Chris.
guy.
One last celebrity guest shot, and it is full of beans / spill the beans, and it's not actually a game. It's just a fart simulator on your phone. It's just an app.
Very good.
Just
I
a
like
big
that
red
a lot.
button that says fart.
Yeah, and it's just called Spill the Beans.
That's,
Oh, that's
the winner.
fantastic.
All right, Kev, did you have any honorable mentions?
One that didn't actually make it to book jacket length was I also was looking at Stab Someone in the Back, but mine did not have any sort of plot or concept besides I remember when I was a kid going to Counter-Strike LAN parties and doing when you were the last two guys on the map just doing knives only.
Oh, yes.
So mine was it'd be a first-person shooter game with no shooting, where individuals are heavily armored and the only weapons available are knives and blades, and you can only defeat an opponent by attacking their weak point and stabbing them in the back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is, oh wow, that's good. And that reminds me of, I did something similar except with GoldenEye, slappers only. And in GoldenEye, it was not at all like, the kind of war simulation where 2 shots and you're dead. GoldenEye, you had a health bar that went on seemingly forever. You could unload multiple automatic fire clips into a player, and they would not die. And here you are with just your hand chopping in a diagonal motion, trying to kill them. So it did literally go on forever, and that was always very fun for me as a child. So I'd be totally into this game.
My other one, I took a gander at Let the Cat Out of the Bag. But the concept that popped into my head upon seeing that was it's a cat burglar who has struck the town, but he's literally a cat burglar where he steals cats. And it's like cliched burglar guy has the mask and like a curly mustache, and he's got a big old sack of cats over his shoulder, and he's like tiptoeing around the town. And you're a kid whose cat was stolen, and you're trying to like sneak the cats out of the bag as he's like too busy like looking around. So you're like sneaking up behind and pulling the cats out of this giant sack of cats. But I got tired of writing cat puns when I was writing my notes, so I gave up.
I do want to point out one thing that's unique about that game, and that is when you're playing a stealth game, the other people that you're trying to attack are usually just like on patrol or like completely unaware. I like the idea that you are playing a stealth game where your enemy is also in stealth mode. So they're trying to sneak around undetected as well. Yeah. Oh, wow. Like that is hot. I like that a lot. And let's hear that book jacket, baby. What we've been waiting for.
All right. So the year is 2020, and the president has created a program to protect the country from the threats of outer space. Not wanting to have American lives harmed, and for the larger publicity it would cause, barnyard animals have been genetically altered and mutated to become space pilots. An elite squadron has been sent to space to take care of the invading alien forces. Some people thought that aliens attacking would only happen when pigs fly, and they were right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So
it sneaks up on you there at the end. I love it.
And my notes were, it's literally just Star Fox, but with pigs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You know there is a pig in Star Fox already. His name is Pigma.
Pigma, yeah. But these are all the good pigs. These aren't villain pigs.
Okay, good pigs.
And my other note would just be lots of pig and deli meat puns like, thanks, you really saved my bacon back there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that is gold.
That's fantastic.
I love
Oh,
that.
holy cow.
All right, it's time to vote. And I feel like every episode so far, it's been a very obvious choice, but I feel like all of these are really good. I'm gonna vote for Kev's what was it, Better Off Dead or Wouldn't Be Caught Dead?
Wouldn't be caught dead.
I'm gonna vote for Kev's zombie game, Wouldn't Be Caught Dead. What does everyone else think?
I like the strategery of the Wouldn't Be Caught Dead, of just like having to like determining who to turn or who to just straight up kill, and like the advantage and the disadvantage. The strategery involved with that is very fun.
I think I'd have to vote for that too. That does seem like a really just fun game to play. Feels like it'd be fun to watch somebody play too.
Yeah. I just feel like out of all the games we talked about today, I could just see this one. I can literally see it in my head. It feels like a real game that you could play.
It feels like something that could be made for the Switch and like sold tomorrow. That like I can pull it out and just like be playing on a subway. Just like
there's so many fun aspects to it.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh well. I can't wait to play it. Thank God it's being made right now by our developers.
It's being made right now. I got the Google alert.
I'm sending the back of your book jacket to our developers right now. It'll be ready tomorrow.
We've got Brian locked in Chris's extra bedroom, and we're just gonna force him to start coding now.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Brian. He'll get right.
Approve the overtime.
My name is Chris Gordon. Thank you so much for listening. You could find me on Spotify. If you like that intro music, by the way, and outro music that plays, that's one of my songs. And you could hear it on Spotify if you search Sprightly. And you could find me on Twitter @yourboysprightly.
I'm Tyler Burrill. Don't worry about the Twitter because I'm not going to tweet again. And I don't know. I mean, if you want me to plug something, just come to Philly and drive across a bridge or something and enjoy it.
My name is Pete Corveses. I'm on Twitter as @PeteCorveses. I don't tweet often, but when hockey season comes back around, you can hear me yell angrily into the void about how angry I am about the Penguins.
Buddy, you better buckle up. If you give that account a follow and the Penguins start losing any games whatsoever.
Once this tournament style starts in July, oh, dang.
Whoo, baby.
I'm Kevin Clark. I'm on Twitter at Kevy Clark. That's Kevin Clark without the N because someone took that one. And basically, if you want to follow, you can follow me if you want to see me tweaking Simpsons quotes to fill my agenda.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Kev's Twitter is very funny. I highly recommend a follow to Kevy Clark. Cool. Well, thank you for listening. This was our comedy game design podcast. I'd totally play that. Just want to remind you that if you don't leave a 5-star review, you are a thief. You are a literal thief.
It's, you know how in the 90s they used to ask, would you download a car? This is the same thing.
This is the same.
Would you download a car?
You are Napster and we are Metallica, I think is the way you look at it.
I'm going to go full on Lars Ulrich on your ass if you don't leave a 5-star review. I haven't said anything about reviews, but you better be ready, buddy, if you're listening to this and you don't leave a 5-star review. Well, thank you for listening. Love you.
That's really, is that how you end it? Is that like your...
That's how I end it every single time.
That's your sign off.